Everyone's complaining about the prices of high-end Magic crashing and burning, but what if we put a little perspective into mind? Well, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Kitchen Table TCG. My name is Louie, and I hope you're having yourself a fantastic day. The world is still crashing. Magic the Gathering is going to zero. All reserve list things are going downhill. Everybody's super negative. And I'm here to tell you, I think everyone's gone a little bit cuckoo. I don't know, man. I think that the negativity of the Magic the Gathering world, and I was a part of this and the Magic 30 stuff, it's just so, it rolls and gets the clicks and everybody wants to hear how much Magic is failing. But when you look at the perspective, in my opinion, I'm going to share you my opinion here. I would love to hear your opinion, the counter arguments, all the negative stuff against me. I would love to hear that in the comment section. But when I look at reserve list Magic, I see something different. I see the pandemic that happened, and it drove prices insane and parabolic. I mean, the graphs on MTG stocks are insane. The quickness that cards were going up, and then, you know, the small window of which those cards were at that price point, and now the inevitable drop off of a market that got out of hand. And we're seeing this across the board, and this is one thing that I feel like a lot of people, when they're talking about Magic, fail to explain or also communicate. Vintage Pokemon market, same thing. Everything across the board is down. Go look up the last sales of a CGC 10 first edition base set Charizard. Even in the last month, you just see it just going. I mean, it's insane how much these things are going down. The collectible world as a whole saw a massive boom. You saw all these indie TCGs booming. You saw Magic reserve list booming. All these things that people didn't have money for in 2019, all of a sudden they had money for in 2020, 2021 because of the stimulus checks, because they weren't going out. It had just parabolically erupted. So why would we think that things would stay that high forever, and that now in a different global economy, in a different recession, in a different whatever, we have this negative downturn? And I get it, Magic's doing some stuff. I agree. I wish that Magic would go back to a block system where we had standard blocks and we could enjoy this set. I don't like Secret Lair. I don't love the volume of reprints where they put Doubling Season twice in the same back-to-back sets. I don't like that stuff either, but I don't particularly feel that those things have much to do with the reserve list prices that we are seeing today. When you look at the bigger picture, I think it's more due to the pandemic and the influx of things. So I want to talk about a couple things. I'm going to give you a couple prices. I'm going to give you some thoughts on where I think things actually are and why I think that, the pandemic and the price increase actually shows some really healthy things for the collectible market as a whole. In this case, we're talking about Magic the Gathering, but I think you could apply it to a lot of different variables that we'll also discuss. So I took some of the cards from my collection buy that I did 2 days ago. I put a video out that I bought another like $7,000 collection. Listen, this is not me trying to pump my stuff. I actually want to hear your opinions and your thought process on this. I'm just very curious, and I share it on a YouTube channel. Okay, so some of the cards I bought: Mox Diamond, Sliver Queen, Grim Monolith, Metalworker, Yawgmoth's Will, Phyrexian Dreadnought, Badlands. I didn't actually buy Badlands or Bayou. I just included it because I think dual lands are a good thing to look at. All those cards, and I'm going to put up the screen, I'm going to give you guys the values of stuff. I took it from mtgstocks.com, so, they kind of have a historical history of the cards. On average, when you compare the value of those cards from 2019 at their high in 2019, and you compare those cards to their high in the pandemic, okay? And then you compare those cards to their current price now in 2023. That's what we've done. When you compare them to 2019 and 2023, the average card price of those 7 cards or 8 cards is up 112%. Okay, so from 2019 to 2023, if you remove the pandemic, right? If you remove the thought process that the prices were accurate in the global pandemic, if you remove that, then prices are up 112%, 112%. Now, if you compare it to the highs in the pandemic in 2021, the cards on a whole are down 29%. So when you look at those two numbers, I think you probably have two different perspectives. You have 112%, right, which is up and things are going well, and you have negative 29%, which is, oh man, everything's falling, it's all going to zero. I think that those two perspectives probably come from two different environments. Somebody like me who has been buying and collecting and engaging in the Magic ecosystem for the last 8 to 10 years now, albeit the vast majority of the stuff that I've purchased has been since the pandemic, right? That has been when I have gotten into higher end Magic collecting and whatever. But if you've been around since 2019, and like I bought a Sliver Queen in 2019, I am feeling great. I feel like it was a great purchase in 2019, right? There's that perspective. And then there's this whole other perspective of people who got involved in the hobby maybe in the middle of the pandemic, and for the first time they spent money on an expensive card that they couldn't afford before. And I think that when you look at that perspective, I can see the negativity of, man, everything's down. But then when you step back from either of those perspectives, and this is what I've had to practice in my own life recently, and as I hear all these negative YouTubers and everything's crashing, when you step back and out of all of it, I see that the growth of people interested in reserve list cards and high-end cards and in collectible world in general, Pokemon, Magic, all of the things, the growth of people whose eyeballs are on the collectible card industry is higher than it was in 2019. The pandemic kind of grew this ecosystem of people who cared about the value of cards and collecting, and they cared about looking at this stuff and revisiting stuff from their childhood or revisiting stuff from when they were in high school. And it created this ecosystem where the volume of people interested in the cardboard grew. And I think that is a huge win that a lot of people are overlooking. And to me, that gives a lot of security in the idea that these cards will have value. Now, I don't know if things are going to go back up. I don't know where the knife falls, right? Like, I can't tell you that things are going to not drop another 30% to even out between the 112% increase and the 30% increase. And so then we see something like a 75% increase over the last 5 years. I think that's probably where it ends. So I think vintage Magic probably still going to continue to drop another 20 to 30%. But at some point you will realize that over a long enough horizon, things are still up significantly, and they will equilibrium. They will have a balance. Things will happen that balances this stuff out because the number of people interested grew. And the counterpoint to that is how many people are upset with Magic in the current world of Magic. And what I hear from a local perspective is people are frustrated, but they still come out and play. They still enjoy Commander. Because what Magic is when you're not on the internet, when you're not on Reddit and watching YouTube videos, but when you are actually at a table playing Magic, what Magic is about is the gathering. It is about the community of people that you end up playing with. And now, maybe a lot of the people who are in the higher end stuff, that's not what they're about, and that's not what their world is, and they don't see that. But at the end of the day, the reason that people come back to Magic day in and day out, in my opinion, the reason that people come back to Magic the Gathering after quitting in 3 years and whatever, is because they miss the community that is created around a table of people playing a card game. And in reality, Magic is the best opportunity to do that. You can show up in any LGS anywhere. You can show up at my store anytime and find a pod of people playing Commander to sit down and play with. what people don't realize when they get negative about Magic is Magic has such a strong hold on the TCG community because of the depth of the player base and the depth of people who show up at a store to play casual games and hang out. And to me, that is the confidence that I need to go in and say these cards matter to people, and they will continue over a long enough period to increase in value. So long story short, what I see in the market is we are up 112% from when things got cuckoo. Things got cuckoo in 2020 and 2021, and we are still up 112% from that window. And from a perspective of a consumer, you just have to decide how much further will that go down to equilibrium, because 113% over that horizon is an increased number. But if you believe, like I do, that things changed in the pandemic and more people came into the industry, I still think we're going to see an uptick of like 70%. And I don't think that's crazy. An uptick of 70% in 5 years, that's pretty normal for the Magic world. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. A little bit of a different video today. Have yourselves a great day. Be kind to the people around you. Remember that there's more important things in this world than the cardboard in your hand or in your house or in your safe or whatever. There's more important things going on. Don't overcommit. Don't overinvest. Don't go out and buy a commander deck just to flex to your friends. Like, remember that the win is the people that you're around at the table. So be kind to the people around you. We'll see you again next video.